It is the Mosley Show, and welcome in Kevin Hall with me as always, my fine producer and friend, as
Hello.
he checks in there and he's monitoring. Today was the final day you could put the franchise tag, and then of course that'll be a placeholder for a lot of teams as they try to get some things done. We'll talk Cowboys. We'll talk Baylor men's and women's basketball today. And then one of the great Baylor players, really of all time, is going to set to join us at 2 o'clock today. Josh Cameron, who just came from Indianapolis where he was out there for the combine. And I talked to some of the top guys today as far as like talent evaluators. One guy who'll be with us tomorrow, hopefully, from Yahoo. And he was just talking about how from a bit like that he feels like Josh Cameron's one of the most interesting players in this draft. His strength, his build, all the things. Unfortunately, according to his mom, he had some little workout injury that caused him not to run and compete there at the combine. I was anxious to see how Josh Cameron would match up with some of the others there, but he'll perform at Baylor's Pro Day, so all of that is fine. But we'll get to the bottom of that. And I got a lot of other Baylor things to ask him. That's 2 o'clock today. In fact, Kevin, you did a good job today of getting me that little link that we used to tease that. I'm going to get that out there as we get closer to the Josh interview. And I think we'll have a lot of Baylor people and a lot of just NFL fans who want to hear from Josh Cameron. And Kev, you'll recall, we will not name names, but you'll recall recently when I interviewed a player and it felt like I was having to do a lot of work. This will be the opposite of that. Josh Cameron is a extremely easy guy to talk to and a great guy. And by the way, I'm totally fine with either way. Anything that requires me to work a little bit harder, that's okay. And sometimes I get I work too hard on these things, and you got to just go, you know what, this kid may not really want to talk today. But I will say that some of the best interviews I've ever had started off a little shaky, and then we found common ground, and then we rolled right on down the lane. And in fact, that's adults too. There was a Baylor great that I was kind of like slow out of the gates with back on radio. I mean, and again, he will remain nameless, but I was like, oh man, this is not going anywhere. And like 8-10 minutes into it, something just changed and something kind of happened and we unlocked it. And then we had the most fun, greatest interview I've had in some time. I'll tell you who it was. It was the great James Big Cat Francis, who was a first-round pick back in the day for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cowboys wanted him, but they didn't get him. They had to settle for a guy named Emmitt Smith. But James Francis was one of the great linebackers in Baylor history, one of the incredible athletes. In modern-day times, well, that was modern day because it was the 1980s. I think he was drafted in the early 90s. But nowadays he would have been turned into a edge rusher, and he was like Micah Parsons before there was Micah Parsons. He had that and he played on the Baylor basketball team, I might add. Was the best leaper on the team, probably best rebounder. So he was on that team that went to the NCAA tournament. I know people think Baylor didn't even play basketball before Scott Drew. They actually did. And back in 1980, probably 88, it's hard to say, 87, 88. 88, they went to the NCAA tournament and ran into a Memphis State team. Used to call them Memphis State. And they were pretty dang good, man. I think it was Elliott Perry might have been on that team for Memphis State. Wow, that was a good team. We had college basketball last night. We'll be talking about all of that. And Kevin will probably try to bring up some of that in Campus Confidential. We'll do that, of course, close to 1:30 today. And we'll also hear a little bit from Jerry Jones, react to some of that, what he had to say at the combine. Now, Kev, let's though get people caught up on our latest franchise tag news from today. Again, we're waiting because there's a deadline, and the deadline is after our show today, so it could happen.
It's literally at the end of our show.
Very end of the show? Okay.
So I'm okay if you are, just maybe just staying a little just to see if any news drops, because it may be a big deal. We'll see.
I'll let you stay. I got to move on with my day. Don't forget, Kev, that just the interviews are just Eric Edholm from Yahoo, I believe, is set to be with us tomorrow. Thursday, I've already talked, Kevin, to the Baylor Chief Marketing Officer, Jason Cook. There was big news on the Baylor front today from a fan standpoint. This fan first movement that Doug McNamee has led. Did you see that?
I saw it, and I immediately sent it to Corey and Mike and said, hey, Rogue Media needs to be a part of this. I mean, they're talking about bringing in live music.
I sent it to Corey as well. Good, great.
The Zach Owens show, my other show, we have live music from local musicians every single day.
Buddy, you don't have there's no other show, all right? Your full focus is right here on the Mosley Show. No other shows exist.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool, though, Kev, because, and by the way, Kev, see if you can find that tweet again. We might throw that up on the screen, because it is Baylor has decided to do a tailgate concert series, and it's called like the Baylor Backyard. Now, the people over in Waco at the backyard or whatever, where
I do my other show. Yes,
Kevin, sometimes you have to let me get it out. I know, I am aware of your other life, your secret life away from me, but yeah, I feel like that should be some kind of tie-in. I don't feel like, I'm not saying they have the market cornered, or they have a, like, you can't have something called the Backyard because their place is called what's it called, Kev? Backyard something? What the Backyard?
It's the Backyard Bar, Stage, and Grill.
Okay. So this new Baylor thing will be called what? Baylor Backyard? I think that's it. Baylor Backyard, and it will be on this, and if I know Kevin, as we speak, he's grabbing the tweet so we can show it to you. But it's part of the new, let's get some folks there. The tailgate area had been kind of a little weak. They brought those tailgate guys in. It made everybody mad. And, I don't know, it may have been a little bit of a money grab by Baylor. I'd never paid that much attention because I'm not a big tailgater. But I did I did the pregame show for years out there. Okay, I knew Kev. Kev's like it was just a race against time for him. Baylor Backyard Live, a concert series pregame at McLean. Now, Kev, while I'm discussing that, look at that story real quick and see if you can kind of determine where that stage will be. Because if you put it too close to the stadium, you won't get people out, over on that whole tailgate area. They probably want to do it across the bridge. There's a big Baylor alumni tent where we used to do our radio pregame. I think the flagship where I used to work for, ESPN Central Texas, has moved its pregame over to like the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. I like that. I love the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame. I do. It's just it's an interesting place to do a pregame show from. But I would say, but again, I'm nothing against it. I would like to actually go to that museum and learn more about the history. It just seems like an interesting place to do the pregame show for. But we do ours from over at Camp Fimfo area, over Brazos parking. Here's what I kind of could anticipate, Kev. Now, you and I will not be consulted because we are too low on the food chain. But you know how we had that huge pregame show last year And, I was right smack dab in the middle of it. Kevin, you were brought in to handle a lot of the TV component to that. I could see Baylor wanting us to be over there in the middle of this. Now, what we have to decide is, Kev, we run a business too. How do we want to handle that? Is that what we want to do? Is that the best scenario for us? How can we help Baylor, but also make a little money? Okay. We can't just kind of be completely altruistic. We've got to, we are a money-making endeavor.
We got to shake hands with across the aisle and bring people together.
This is not a nonprofit.
According to the article, it is in the Baylor backyard tailgate area. So it sounds like maybe they invented something new for this. I don't know.
Baylor,
because it doesn't say touchdown alley. It doesn't say, but it does say tailgate. And so that would lead me to believe that it is over toward where we did our Green and Gold game day.
It doesn't have a map?
It doesn't. Nope. No map available. Only words. And words can only go so far. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and they didn't even have 1,000 words in the whole article.
Well, wait. The guy who's in charge of this is about to come on with us Thursday, so do not say anything negative here. Where is the exact location? I'm going to ask him. The new I'm going to say new concert series. Okay. Did it give any examples, Kev, about like what kind of bands or what kind of like country, or did it not get into that? Okay.
I think it alluded to local, nice. And then the timing of it was after the Bear Walk, about an hour and 45 prior to kickoff. I think that's what was said.
The Bear Walk happens, and then we get a little pregame cut. Now I'll tell you who's done this. University of Texas, Crystal Conte. The little walk area they have, because last year I checked out. I have not been to that since Texas has started doing that, but I do think they cleaned up their pregame scene, and maybe it's a lot more fun with all the food trucks in the concert and the boulevard that they walked or whatever. Like it's kind of I do think UT did a good job with it. A&M's whole tailgate scene is pretty unbelievable. Just right there next to Kyle Field, and there's a lot of different. In fact, my buddy, the Chris Torn family, and Scott Torn, and I guess Angela Torn, the Torn siblings, along with their great spouses, Cecily, Stacey, and Stephen, have an unbelievable tailgate right next to Kyle Field, like right next to the entrance. And then the Sam Torn, owner of Camp Ozark, will come over and visit that one. He's a member of the Board of Regents there, and it's quite a to-do. So I've been very fortunate to get to stop by that one, although Chris Torn keeps a pretty close eye, Kevin, on like how many sliders I have. How many brisket sliders that I'm taking with me and that kind of thing. And what am I pouring over there? I feel like he kind of keeps a little bit of a tabs on me, what I'm up to over there.
It's probably a good idea.
I think it is good. Kev, this will be good, though. This is good. I didn't really intend to spend that much time on this, but I think Baylor fans and our audience do care about this. Now, Kev, back to our regular scheduled franchise tag talk. This is a franchise tag special. All right, special report. What have you done, Kevin, to prepare for this? What kind of pictures do you have?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, let's check. Let's see if you have. Do you have a picture of the big news? No, not that. We already had the Backyard Live. What about Brees Hall? What about the big news earlier today? There it is. There it is. I knew Kevin would. This is America's #1 franchise tag special. All right. Nobody else is doing this. All right. I mean, Smokey and them will have a great show this afternoon, but I assure you they will not be talking franchise tag. All right. Now they may be talking something. I don't know. Oh, by the way, Kev, leave this up. Leave it, Brees Hall up. But just a quick aside. I did check in with Baylor super donor Jeremy Fudge before the show. This big thing that's happening in Dallas with that, I think this hedge fund or private equity fund is putting on kind of a summit to discuss the future of college athletics. I do believe our super donor Baylor Jeremy Fudge is stopping by to kind of see what's going on there. And the presidents of TCU and who else in the conference? I did see TCU's was there. Trying to think who else is represented, but a lot of colleges are telling their people not to go because this is more about like this is a discussion on what it would be like to consolidate TV media rights or the media rights, what that would look like. I think the commissioners, for whatever reason, don't really like this discussion. And maybe obviously the TV networks probably are against this. So I feel like they've discouraged people from going, but I think it's smart for Baylor to have somebody over there to just kind of see what's going on in Dallas today. And I do think that from what I can tell, Baylor's own Jeremy Fudge, donor to the stars, the Fudge Development Center over there at Baylor, the great, the Fudge, that's a great building right there by the Brazos. He is over there today monitoring what's happening in Dallas. There may be others from Baylor. Like I'd have no problem in the world with Doug McNamee or Linda Livingstone slipping right over there to this deal, but I kind of get it. They may need to kind of watch things from afar because I don't think the conferences and the commissioners and everybody are really wanting people to attend. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to our folks' attention as all these interesting things are happening today. All right, there's Breece Hall. He's with New York Jets. They are hoping to do a lucrative deal with him. But today, the deadline at 3:00 as we sign off, they went ahead and dusted off their franchise tag, according to Rich Cimini of ESPN.com, and they placed it on the running back Breece Hall ahead of Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline. Again, that's 3:00 our time, right as we're getting off the show today. The deadline will be there. And that's why Kevin, even if I decide to leave on time, because Kevin is so attached to the Indianapolis Colts, he's going to take a long look at this because and Kevin, okay, let me finish this when we'll talk Colts. Hall's tag is the non-exclusive version. He can negotiate with other teams to sign an offer sheet. I don't think that'll happen. The Jets would have the first right of refusal and receive 2 first-round picks as compensation if they decline to match. None of that's happening. All right. George Pickens has the same non-exclusive tag on it for the Dallas Cowboys. So that, obviously became official on Friday, but I just wanted to bring that up. The general manager for the Jets, Darren Maugy or Muhey, Mougey. Kev, we'll have to get a consensus on that. Speaking last week at the Combine, gave no indication that a trade is under consideration. He said Hall is, quote, a good player, and we want to find a way to keep him around. All right. After news of the Jets' decision broke, Hall posted on X, always been the type to bet on myself, been working, ... See y'all soon. Love. All right. The transition tag would have been less costly, but it would have increased the chances of an offer sheet from another team. All right, that's what happens. I've seen the transition tag, and I've seen the poison pill used in these transition tags occasionally. It's the first time the Jets have exercised the tag since 2021, when it used it on safety Marcus May, who never signed a long-term contract. He wound up leaving as a free agent in 2022. Kevin, do we know what happened to Marcus May? Let's see here. And now I'm curious. Where are you, Marcus? He played at Florida. He was a second-round pick in 2017. He did play this past season, but he's now looks like he's a free agent again or something because it does not have him listed with a team. All right, Marcus May. I was just kind of curious whatever happened to the young man. Source says, okay, I don't care anymore. All right, Kev, what else do we have on the tab? Oh yeah, let's talk about your coach, because the young buck, the 25-year-old wide receiver from the Colts, Alec Pierce. Pierce. You see him there catching a long ball. Why is he doing that? Because he does it a lot. No matter who's been the quarterback over the last few years, Pierce, for the last 2 seasons, has led the entire NFL in yards per catch, yards per completion. All right. And so that's how he ends up with about, 60-something catches for right around 1,000 yards. And if you do the math, that's a big number per catch. In fact, I bet it's up there around, Kev, 14, 15 yards a catch. Is that about right, would you say?
North.
17?
The last 2 years, it's been over 20 per catch.
God, that doesn't even make sense.
I know. That's what, and
wow.
in that picture I picked on in particular, what he got particularly good at this year was catching even when there was a pass interference flag. There were probably, I think, at least 4 times this year a flag was thrown for pass interference, and he caught the ball anyway. That's what he does. And his first game was against Houston with Matt Ryan. He had 0 catches and actually dropped a game winner and got concussed in the same game. So needless to say, he's come a long way.
I need you to look at the stats again real quick, because I just did the math, and if he had 68 catches and he was averaging 20 yards a catch, that would put him up over 1,300 receiving yards. But you and I both know that he had 1,000 yards this season.
Just over 1,000, yeah.
Okay, so we need to look at, I not to ever doubt you, Kev, but once you said that, I did go to my calculator, and the numbers are not coming out clean for me that he would have had 20 yards a catch. That seems high. Like that would be like an NFL record or something. But anyway, that's still unbelievable though. This guy.
He had 47 catches,
47,
for 1,000 yards, 21.3 per catch just last year.
Okay, I now have to look at his last season.
Let's look at the year before.
Okay.
The year before, he averaged 22.3 yards per catch when he had 37 receptions for 824 yards.
It's my bad, because I thought he had like 68 catches. You are right. 47 catches, 6 touchdowns. Again, how many games did he miss? What I'm not understanding is, if you have a guy that is this unbelievably productive, how does he only have 47 catches?
Because you also had Michael Pittman Jr., and you also have Josh Downs that keeps the sticks moving a lot of times, and you had Tyler Warren.
All right. I'm still just...
They spread the ball really well.
That's a shocking number. And here you are, just like, yep, I'm done with Danny Dimes. Get him out of here. Move him on out. And the guy put up monster numbers. Okay, so just to get everybody, so what the Colts are having to decide is, okay, do we franchise tag this guy? What do we do with Danny? What do we do with Daniel Jones? Some know him as Danny Dimes. a guy who, Kevin, you don't think will be really ready to roll until well into next season, correct? Given the injury that he has.
So the news is that he will be ready for training camp, but the injury happened on December 3rd, the first weekend in December, and it's an Achilles rupture. It's done, and so the average, the recovery time is somewhere between 6 and 12 months. But when you're actually talking about being ready to actually play football, it's got to be closer to that 12-month time frame. So that's my struggle in this instance. It's not necessarily is he worth it. It's is he worth it to pay somewhere between, depending on franchise or transition tag, 28 to 45 million or 38 to 45 million dollars for not even half the season, maybe, by the time he's ready to roll. So you're going to have to find another solution until then.
Now, I will say this, Kev. Yesterday, Schefter was saying, and I'm sure you saw this too, he had the quote 50-50 chance of getting this done by the deadline. Now, he's talking about Pierce and Jones.
Right.
He's talking about both of those getting deals done.
Right. What I'm reading is that Alec Pierce deal looks pretty close to being done. It looks like they're going to get something long-term. So then it's just franchise, because you could feasibly franchise one, transition the other, and use both the tag, but that's a lot of money into two players.
Well, I think they could tag Jones and let Pierce hit free agency. It's going to be very, very interesting. Do you know, Kevin, and I've got this in front of me, so I'm just quizzing you.
Okay.
Do you know what the franchise tag for Daniel Jones would cost the Colts? Do you have that number in your head?
It's about $45-ish million.
43
for the franchise.
$43.9 million. $43.9 million.
What's the transition tag then?
Whoa. Because we're talking up there around. We're talking right up there around. Well, no, it's the franchise tag that I'm looking at. That's not the transition tag. Because
most people believe it. If they're going to tag him, it will be with the transition tag, because the difference. You want to fill people in on the difference between those two?
Well, the transition tag gives them a right to match, and nothing else. The other, the exclusive franchise tag is a different animal, because not only can you match, but if you choose not to match, you would get like major draft pick compensation, which is two first round picks. Yeah, that's what I was getting to, Kevin. Yep. You asked me to provide the deal. I like it though. I would rather you be like this than be like reticent. All right. I used to have I liked him so much, but I used to have a producer. And I've been doing this for 20 something years, so I will not try to say who it is or what era this was. Okay. But like way into sports, love sports, but didn't love maybe being on the air as much as you do. And so when it would be time for me just to kind of, even just something kind of simple, like ask a question, the freeze would set in. And it was just, I could be asking anything like, hey, could you remember who the quarterback of the Commanders is? I mean, like, I'm not saying I would have asked that question, but I'm just saying, let's say I did. And he would totally know the answer, but in that moment, freeze up. All right?
It happens.
It happened to me in law school a little bit. Okay? It's why my law school career didn't work out that much. I love this.
The other thing that Schefter did say about the Colts is that maybe that transition tag provides a little bit more room. And if there is a certain defensive end who used to play for a certain defensive coordinator that the Colts now have, maybe Trey Hendrickson could come to the Colts.
Okay. All right. There you go.
With that extra money.
Somebody who used
In addition to that, Michael Pittman Jr. is on the last year of his deal. Yeah. They could release him and save $29 million because Alec Pierce is by far the new number one receiver.
Yeah. I mean, this has turned into the Colts podcast, Kevin. You have one of those, so let's.
Yes, I do.
Let's allow you to do that. But I do appreciate all that. And I think
there's another franchise tag though, closer to home.
the franchise tag for George Pickens.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already knew that one. That would happen Friday. But we put George up there anyway. I'm fine with that. I like to see George. Yeah, there he is. We'll see. George, everybody seems to be in pretty good spirits. We listened to Jerry Jones talk about this, and I do think something will get done before July 15th. Although no one likes drama like the Cowboys, and not getting this done before July 15th would then cause drama, because then he'd have to make a decision what to do during training camp. Does he show up? Is he there? Different people handle the franchise tag differently. Like Dak Prescott showed up for everything, played on the franchise tag, all of that. Dez was not happy, but Dez got franchise tag, and then they got the long-term deal done. Now, we'll just have to see. Now, the other one, Kevin, it's not big news because we already knew this was going to happen, but they just confirmed it, that Kenneth Walker III from the Seahawks will not get the franchise tag and will be allowed to go in free agency and will be one of the top. Why wouldn't he? He's Super Bowl MVP. Will somebody pay too much? Maybe. I don't know what the running back market will be like. I don't know who will set the market for that. The Jets with Breece Hall are simply, again, using the franchise tag to kind of buy more time, and that'll be used as a placeholder. Why are the Seahawks not doing that? Well, because the Seahawks think while they love this player, they don't love him enough to set the market and make him the highest paid running back. Now, could they, if he goes out there and there's not the market he and his agent thought there would be, the Seahawks could swoop back in and get him. It does happen from time to time. Doesn't happen that often, but, there will be teams that occasionally say, hey, go test the market. Yeah, what we would really appreciate is when you get your best offer, if you'll come back and let us match it and let us have a chance to get involved. There is a chance the Seahawks, no matter what they said at the Combine last week, have said something along these lines to Kenneth Walker III. The other thing is, so many teams believe that they can get a suitable, really good running back in the draft, a starting running back, even with a third or fourth pick. And for instance, Kevin, you were asking me recently for the risers and the fallers and stuff as far as the NFL draft is concerned. And, in the Combine, that running back from Arkansas comes to mind, and now I'm going blank on him. I'm like my old producer. I'm freezing on the spot here.
Malik Washington.
Malik Washington, right?
Is that his first name? Malik?
I think so.
Okay, I thought it was something else, but yes, somebody Washington. And if Kevin thinks it's Malik, we'll call him Malik. But he just went crazy at the Combine. This young man was already on everybody's radar. It's not like, oh my gosh, we'd never heard of the Arkansas running back. Kevin asked me, can it help you or hurt you more? Yes, like those big time Combine workouts.
I made it too complicated.
I didn't know the right name, but I knew that was the wrong name. But Mike Washington from Arkansas, oh my gosh. He just crushed it at this Combine. Put up enormous numbers. And some team out there will go, you know what? Mike Washington might be able to start for us. I mean, I like who the Cowboys signed to deal with, and it was a reasonable deal that the Cowboys signed their long-term running back. But the truth is, they probably could have found one in the third or fourth round that was somewhat comparable to the guy they got. Now, they got more of a sure thing, somebody they're very comfortable with, and somebody who is a brilliant at picking up the blitz. So I don't really have a hard time with what they did. I don't have a problem with what they did, but these teams, I think people think Kenneth Walker III is going to get some kind of huge deal. Let me tell you who gets the huge deals in free agency. Cornerback, edge rusher, any quarterback that hits the market. I mean, the guy from the Packers, just Malik Willis, there's your Malik, is going to, just because of the virtue of the position he plays. And then maybe an offensive tackle. If they got out there, they could do it. But for the most part, teams don't let great players get out there. I mean, all of these free agents come with somewhat of like a little bit of a warning. Okay. Kenneth Walker III just hadn't done it for that long, and he hasn't really been the lead back for very long, if at all. All right. And so that would be his. Wait, do we want to do a huge deal with the running back? I think the only big running back deals that'll ever get done again are for the McCaffreys of the world who can do it all. And Kenneth Walker III isn't Christian McCaffrey. All right. Those Swiss Army knife type running backs are the only ones that can truly go out there and get big money. And let's be honest, the highest paid running back per season is probably McCaffrey. And I don't even know if it's $20 million a year. Whereas the Cowboys have literally 3 defensive tackles making $20 million or more. Kev, look up what's McCaffrey's number per year. His has to be the highest, and I would be shocked if it's more than 20 a year. I bet it's more like 16 to 17 million a year, but I'm just talking off the top of my head. All right, Kevin, that's not. You already.
What I looked up was Saquon is at 20, and and McCaffrey's 19.
Wasn't thinking about Saquon. Okay, so I was kind of okay. I was about right. Okay, good. Thanks, Kev. Saquon at 20, McCaffrey at 19. Again, 3 defensive tackles for the Dallas Cowboys, $20 million or more a year. Okay. And then the top running back in the league is making 20. It's where you value things, and that's not where the value is in this new NFL. Although things change, and the running game, I would say, is kind of coming back around a little bit. All right, Kev, let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's do that next.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you get a call saying they're going to lock you in jail for missing jury duty unless you pay a fine, that's fake. Scammers use scare tactics to force you to act without thinking. Just hang up the phone.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
All right. I do want to, we'll get into Campus Confidential. Thank you, Central National Bank. My gosh. Unbelievable. And they also obviously are the primary sponsors of the Baylor Lady Bears, which we don't call them that anymore, the Baylor women's basketball. I did want to say something about something we call direct primary care in Waco. And what is direct primary care? It's pretty cool. Modern alternative to traditional insurance-based system, longer visits, transparent pricing, care focused on you, and no billing codes. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Patient first direct primary care. Mark Roberts out there, the PA on site, and they do a tremendous job. I was just looking at some of the reviews. Wow. So we're glad to have them. We're glad to have them with us. You see the ads that they have on the Mosley Show, and we're very appreciative. And it's very interesting. It's just as you find out more, and there's all kinds of changes in the medical industry. But Patient Direct, we like having them along with us. All right, Kev, I want to remind people that Josh Cameron, Baylor's all-everything wide receiver, he's now going to be going in the draft, and we got a lot to visit with him about. He's going to join us at 2:00. So, Kev, let's get started on some Campus Confidential, sir.
All right. Speaking of the Combine, you talked a little bit about this earlier with Mike Washington, not Malik. Who is the biggest? Who had the biggest stock jump from the Combine, in your opinion?
We knew he was great, but I think Sonny Styles out of Ohio State, incredible. I think some guys confirmed what we kind of thought. We're like, okay, those are dudes, right? Arvell Reese did the same thing, just incredible. I thought the Tech guys did a good job. I thought David Bailey, from a running standpoint, I got a kick out of those guys. He was mad at himself, thought he could run faster. He ran like a 4.51 at some, at whatever he weighs. He's an edge rusher, like 263 pounds, and he wanted to run faster. He ran a 4.53, I think, or something like that. That guy was good. I thought Jackie Marshall from Baylor, I liked seeing him in some of those drills. I thought he just was smooth, kind of all the things he was doing. He looked lean to me. He looked smooth. And, I couldn't help but thinking, Kev, of what I think he could have done best, especially in Joe Klanderman's defense, is more of that attacking style, one gap type player, get in the lane and get after the quarterback. That's what Jackie Marshall needed to be doing. And unfortunately, Baylor was more of a two-gap, trying to get him to stop the run. And he wasn't as disruptive of a player as I think his skill set perhaps provided for. And
what about,
there's a lot of reasons for that.
What about Klubnik or Nussmeier kind of getting themselves back in a conversation?
Klubnik was always, I know they didn't have the season they wanted, right. But Nussmeier was the more interesting one to me. Glad you brought it up because I think we knew something was wrong with him. And then as we knew would happen after Brian Kelly was gone, it's like, oh yeah, I could barely, lift my arm the whole season. I could barely throw a football. He was compromised physically. And I'm sure part of it is he just didn't play that well, but he was a Heisman candidate who did not have a great season. And while I still wouldn't be trying to take him in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I think he's kind of maybe putting his value back together a little bit. So I thought that was a good one. I thought Sawyer Robertson from Baylor interviewed extremely well, ran for 4.65, had a good vertical. I think all the physical traits are there. And I think, I didn't see anything from him that wasn't anything but very positive. I like Lee Hunter from Tech, the defensive lineman. And I can't say that I was trying to look for Fano and some of those guys, some of those offensive tackles, like the guy from Utah. There's going to be a bunch of offensive tackles that go off the board early, like the first round, and then there's a gap, is what I'm reading about in offensive tackles. So the only one that I liked was that Iowa guy. It's only because of his hair. He had that and they played the music Freebird to his 40. They slowed down his 40 and they got the Freebird going.
Yep.
I've enjoyed that. I would say, trying to think. There was an Oklahoma, I guess he's a linebacker, that just was off the charts in this combine, and he jumped in my mind. I think his name is R. Mason Thomas or something like that. Oh, loved it. I mean, his workouts, I was just like, just no notes, just perfect. I just feel like, Kevin, we should just call everybody Malik today. All right. What else do you have for me, sir?
Yeah. Don't call Josh Cameron Malik. That's not maybe a good look.
Does
TCU have a chance in Lubbock tonight transitioning to basketball?
Yeah. That's a good ball game. See if you can see the line on that game real quick.
Tech is anywhere between an 8.5 to 10-point favorite at home against
Give me the
TCU.
Frogs to cover that. It's going to be a great crowd. I love the way Tech's playing. It's a little bit of what you'd call a trap game because even though it's at home, there's a tendency to relax a little bit when you have an unbelievable outing like they had at Iowa State. They shot Iowa State out of the building. What we don't know yet about this new look Tech team without JT Toppin is whether can they weather the storm when the shots aren't falling, because they got 3 great guards, all can shoot the three. 2 of them are unbelievable three-point shooters, Christian Anderson, Donovan Atwell, and they all defend, all these guys. Maybe Petty not as much as the other 2, but they got this new guy. And Kevin, I guess I'm going to have to study and find a way to pronounce his name because he's that good. He's long. He can score a little bit. It's almost like they had like a poor man's Toppin sitting over there. And they're like, hey, man, we know he hadn't been using you that much. I think he was actually banged up earlier this season, but his name's like Bombway. Kevin, look this up, this pronunciation for this young man. It's like Bamquay. BQ something. I love this kid. BAMBKE or something. Oh, there's a G in there.
Yep.
Can I buy a vowel? No, there's a G. How is it spelled? BAMGKE?
It is BAMGBOYE.
Okay. All right. I'm loving this kid. Wow. They got it. Huh?
Bamboye.
Okay. I'm loving Bamboye. Did you actually look that up to see the pronunciation?
I look it up. I looked it up the same way I do all my tennis people.
Bamboye. And Mosley plays for them, and then they bring in some 6'11" dude or 7-footer. Again, this is how you, and maybe Baylor, doesn't have the money to do this, but Grant builds that old roster, and you lose literally the best player in the Big 12. People say, Matt, what about Devonsa? What about Peterson? I'm not talking about the best draft prospect. I'm talking about year in, year out, just the flat out most valuable type player is freaking JT Toppin. Yeah. And wow, what a job they have done. A lot of depth. What else do you have for me, sir? And don't rush. We can always come back to it after the big interview.
I gotcha. This is the last one I got. What does Mick Cronin have in store for Nebraska tonight in L.A.? Nebraska is a 1.5-point favorite there.
I like Mick at home. I like that team a little. They had a huge last-second win to take out Illinois at home on that coast-to-coast in overtime after being down. Now, Mick is not a fun guy to be around. He's an arrogant bully, but he's a good coach. He is a good coach, and they certainly, from time to time, will perform at home. Give me Nebraska on the road to win this one. Give me Nebraska, and give me the mayor's son. I love the mayor. The mayor's a nice guy, by the way. The mayor had to shove some kid with a camera recently, and you're like, well, why is the mayor being mean? The mayor has a pacemaker, and somebody was like coming at him like up in his face. Once you get the pacemaker, you got to be a little careful. I act like I have one. I don't, but he gave him a little stiff arm. The guy with the camera. That's okay. If you come at the mayor, you best not miss, and you don't want to be in a congratulatory handshake line, and have something happen with a mayor like that. Kev, do you have one more real quick?
That's it. That's all I got.
Kev, you better dig for more, buddy. Oh, well, we do have. Kevin, I do want you to take a peek. I want you to take a peek at that thing going on up in Dallas today, because we may need to investigate. That may need to be a Mosley Show investigation. That's an interesting. It's called like Smash Burger. It's not called Smash Burger, but it's something sounds kind of like that. Smash. It's like a group. They're a private equity group, and they're hosting something, and it's called like Smash Mouth or something like that. Smash Mouth Sports. All right. The great Josh Cameron, tremendous Baylor wide receiver, NFL draft prospect, is set to join us next.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
It's the President's Day sales event at Ellen Samuels, and we're making history. Right now, your choice, a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sahara or Gladiator Sport, $10,000 off MSRP. Or step up to adventure with the 2025 Gladiator Rubicon or Mojave, $13,000 off MSRP. Plus, drive home a new 2026 Jeep Compass Latitude for $29,890. Big capability, big savings, limited time. Shop us in Waco or online at allensamuelsdcj.com.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. us.muc-off.com.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
On his Mosley Show, and we'll have Josh Cameron on soon. I was just sending you a note, Kevin, and we'll just. Oh man! How could I ever doubt this man? He always delivered, always on time for the Baylor Bears. But as we get closer to the interview, Kevin, typical Mosley fashion, there I am worrying. I'm hoping Josh has the link and all that kind of stuff. And yet he's right there, always on time. There he is, Josh Cameron. Josh, man, it's great to see you. Last time I was interviewing you, we were after Baylor games and then at Big 12 Media Day and all of that. And
yes, sir.
Now you are a pro, and you will soon have an NFL team, and it's exciting to have you on. So, man, I hope
thanks
you had
for having me on. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
This is great. I'm trying to see if you look any different to me. Your hair might have gotten a little bit longer.
I think it got a little longer, yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is the end of the season, no doubt. It's been growing a little bit.
How was your trip to Indy? Did you? I saw your mom got to come, and not everybody gets to bring a cheering section. So it's nice. That had to be kind of cool to have her there, and maybe a couple other family members. But how was the whole experience? Knowing you and knowing how well you interview, I bet literally every team was trying to line you up and all that kind of thing. Was that a fun process or kind of like a hectic, a little bit? Were there some tense moments trying to make sure you were where every team wanted you and, having to do that many interviews?
So the whole experience, first of all, was amazing. Being able to go to the combine, really kind of as a kid, just like really watching that and then being a part of the experience, seeing the behind the scenes, really that whole process was really cool. So Really, when it came to the schedule, I would say it was hectic at times, but I went to the Senior Bowl a couple weeks back, and I would say that schedule was a little bit more hectic than the combine schedule. With the combine schedule, it just kind of depends on how many, I guess, formal interviews you had. And so since I was already at the Senior Bowl and met with a lot of the teams there, that took a little bit of the load off of my formal interview schedule. So, but it was a really great experience when you were kind of there at the combine. You had informals and formals. So I had one formal meeting with Atlanta, and so that went really well. I just, like you said, I really kind of crushed that interview. Felt really good about what I was saying in there, and just them kind of getting the feel for who I am. So had different informal interviews too, with like Cowboys, New York, just a plethora of other teams, and just kind of getting to know me and kind of who I am. And so just go through that whole schedule. But the whole process itself, it was good. Got to meet a whole bunch of cool people out there. Saw some familiar faces from the Senior Bowl too. So that was a really cool experience. So no, it was great experience overall though, for sure.
Any Jerry Jones sightings, or did you talk to Will McClay, or which of the Cowboys representatives? Do you remember who you talked to?
I forgot his name, man. I forgot his name. I know it's one of the assistants though, but yeah, I didn't see Jerry.
Oh, it could have been Clayton Adams. He's the offensive coordinator, and they might have had their wide receivers coach. They've got a lot of new coaches, especially.
I believe it might have been the assistant receiver coach.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the assistant receiver coach, but you're meeting with so many people. I don't forgot. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, what did you decided not to run, and you'll do it at the Baylor Pro Day. Yeah. Did you tweak a little something? I get my best information from your mom when she put, things out.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, just had a little tweak kind of as I was preparing for the week kind of out there. So that part definitely did kind of suck a little bit, not being able to go out there and showcase my abilities, because I've just been preparing these past couple months, really been dialed in on my routes and my running form and all that fun stuff. So been going hard in the PT, and really just excited to get back to it come Pro Day on March 22nd. So yeah, really just gearing up for that and staying ready.
Okay, so first of all, where did you do all your training and workouts? Who'd you do all that with?
Yeah, up here in Frisco at Elite Performance Training with Mo Wells, Mason, and Letty. So really just like the three of them, 3-man squad. And, I know Mo is real well known for the combine prep and all that fun stuff. So no, they really know what they're doing. I've been feeling good. I was really excited to run out there, really just kind of do my thing. And so, but yeah, I'm up here in Frisco though.
Okay. And what was when you were training and you were targeting everybody once? So I saw these big dudes and I'd be like, wait, how is that guy mad about like a 4.55? Like that guy, David Bailey's the edge guy. What is he, 263 pounds? And he runs a 4.55. He's like, well, I wanted to be a little faster than that. I thought, oh my gosh, this is kind of crazy. Do you have a number in mind that you think you can get that you were already kind of attaining as you were training? 40 wise?
I was really targeting that low 4.5 to high 4.4 range, really just anywhere in there. So really just kind of depending on how I was feeling that day. Really just with the other guys that I trained with, how they were feeling. I think I would have possibly hit that high 4.4 number. Okay. So I was feeling good though, for sure. Like I said, a lot of the guys, they were training a little bit higher kind of before coming in. And then when it got time to do the combine, they really crushed it.
What were the scouts at the Senior Bowl? Like, what was the biggest thing? The scouts I've talked to talk about your build. I think they're impressed with how strong you are. Obviously, you've always been a very physical wide receiver. And like, was there anything during this training or as you were kind of getting ready for it? Were you trying to do anything different to your body? Did you try to lean up or add muscle? Any changes, or did you kind of keep it, what's kind of worked for you over these past couple of seasons?
Yeah, I'll probably just say just lean up a little bit, add a little bit more muscle. I've been on a nutrition plan, and so her name's Jill. Shout out Jill. We're really working with her out here. And so that was just kind of like our main focus, just leaning up and adding more muscle. Not trying to change anything drastically, lose a whole bunch of weight, gain a whole bunch of weight. But yeah, that was just kind of like the main focus going into it. And so she got me on a plan, and yeah, I've really been seeing it, been feeling good, looking in the mirror and all that stuff. So it's been paying off though.
That's one thing I never do. I never look in the mirror. And could you pass Jill's information along to me, by the way? I may need some help in that area. Tell Jill, a sports writer or a broadcaster who certainly is trying to lean up a little bit. Our definition of leaning up, Josh, is a tad different, I would say. Now, vertical wise, what were you? I mean, I know you probably have some hoops background. What were you? What were you doing, and what do you think you could maybe put up at this Baylor Pro Day?
Yeah, so really kind of testing in. I was around like 35, just kind of in there. But if I can boost it up even more, possibly hit that 36 plus, then that'll be good. So,
were you concerned with Sawyer having a bigger vertical, a higher vertical? Would he hold that over you?
I wasn't concerned, but it definitely surprised me. I'm like, dang, dude, I did not know you can jump. White man can jump. Okay, I see you, Saw. But yeah, he'll probably be bragging that on me though, for sure.
What was it like being there with the other Baylor guys? Y'all kind of have to go in and do things at different points of the week, right? So you may not get to hang as much as you would like, but that has to be pretty cool when you look up and see guys that you went through so much with, and Michael's been with you for a couple of years. But how cool is that when you arrive at a place and that you got some other Baylor Bears there?
Yeah, no, it's a cool experience. I feel like, so me and Sawyer, we were actually roommates at the Combine. So we were roommates at the Senior Bowl as well. And so I think that just having that kind of pressure off of you, having someone in the same room helps a lot in itself. And then just seeing Jackie and Trig kind of throughout the week. Jackie, he was there a couple of days earlier because D-line go earlier, but finally ran into him one of the days and was just chopping it up for a little bit. And the same thing with Trig. Haven't seen him in a couple of months. And so really just kind of seeing all the guys there, really just get that much closer to their dreams and getting that much closer to getting to where they want to be is really cool. So yeah, it was a cool experience.
We thought Trig was a freak, right, for a tight end, but did you see that Sadiq? Did you see some of those numbers he put up?
That was ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching. I was like, man, what is going on this year? You got these D linemen running low 4.5s. You got the safety running 4.2. Like, it was interesting for sure. It was definitely interesting. But yeah, no, Trig's still up there. He gonna show out. He gonna do his thing. What do the scouts bring up the most with you? Like, first of all, what of the two things you've done now, what was the of all these interviews in the Senior Bowl, what was the most interesting question you were asked? Was there anything kind of out of left field or a little bit weird or interesting that somebody brought up? It's an interesting question. My questions weren't too crazy. Oh, I feel like, one was like, so yeah, we noticed like you're a bigger dude or whatever, and that's cool. Would you be willing to possibly, let's say some guys go down and you put on some more weight, would you be willing to switch to H-back? And I said, huh? I said, H-back? I was like, respectfully, I'm a receiver, sir, but I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm willing to do a lot for the team, but I'm a receiver. I can play inside out. So just kind of redirecting the question that way. So that was probably the most left field question I got for sure. But yeah.
Were they interested in your backstory? You've talked about it a lot, being a walk-on and being up every year for the Burlsworth Trophy. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know before you, by the way, what the Burlsworth Trophy, what that was. Yes, and Baylor's had this unbelievable walk-on program. Did that come up in any of the meetings? The fact that you kind of did it in maybe a bit of a non-traditional way than some of the other draft prospects?
Yeah, so it was more so me whenever I was telling my story and about the journey is how they kind of found out, because like a lot of them honestly didn't know that I was walking on before, to tell you the truth. So like really when I was just kind of talking about my journey, how I got to Baylor, and how I got there, and then once I got there, getting put on scholarship after a year, and really just kind of going through that journey. A lot of them were like, "Wow, like yeah, I didn't even know you were a walk-on." So that's kind of how the walk-on story really came up, was me just telling my story, and just letting them know really just how much I want it and how bad I want it, and really kind of what it's took so far to get to this point. And so that's really how it came up for sure.
What will it mean to be back on the campus? And, you've been working out in Frisco and doing all of that. Do you still find yourself gravitating back to Waco? And obviously you were part of the program so much. Is it hard to keep the distance, when you've moved on and you're, trying to take this next step? Do you find yourself wanting to get back down there for, I don't know, basketball games or whatever else?
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually there, I think the week before the combine. I went down to get a retwist. I took it out now and a haircut for the combine so I could be looking good. So I think I definitely do miss it though, getting back to the campus. It was like all the memories just started kind of flooding in as I was driving through. And so I'm gonna try to get back as much as I can. I'm already knowing that this rookie season is gonna be a lot though. For sure, just with the time constraints and all that and getting your feet wet. But yeah, as much as I can get back, I'm definitely going to be back. Like I said, Baylor's home. It's been my home for the past 5 years. And I went from boy to man through the whole process. And so, yeah, definitely kind of a nostalgic feeling kind of driving through for sure.
What is Scott, your agent, Scott Casterline and others, when you try to get feedback and go, okay, had this unbelievable Senior Bowl. A lot of people were talking about you. Are you interested in learning, like, here's where they have me slotted, or do you try almost not to know that stuff so you don't have expectations? I mean, it's very natural. Yeah. Almost everybody does. How do you handle that?
Yeah, so I'm a guy where I like to see it kind of after the process, I guess you can say, kind of the feedback. So they are giving me feedback, but I like to tell them just try to keep it kind of, I guess, surface level, just so I can stay focused on the end of the goal. But really more so, like, after I get drafted, that's when I really want to know what they were saying and kind of hear the ins and outs of, like, kind of everything. But they are kind of telling me what teams are saying about me and where I'm kind of positioned, and really just what to do. Just keep being me, because that's what teams like about me. My personality, just being a good guy, good character guy, someone who works hard, and someone who's a playmaker too. So that's how I kind of like to tackle the situation, though.
Yeah. And have they said how some of these teams would like to use you? You know, you've been an outside receiver. I do think you could probably come inside some. Any of how they might deploy you, other than the team that wants to turn you into an H-back? Does did some of that come up in some of those conversations about, like, almost how they could envision using you?
Yeah, that's something I was really kind of hitting on too when meeting with the team, just letting them know, like, yeah, I spent a lot of time outside, but I have that inside experience. Well, I was a slot receiver all the way throughout high school. I have the knowledge of the entire offense, know each position, and so whenever it comes to being able to plug and play, that's something real important. So then that's something kind of some of the teams were telling me that's valuable, because you never know who's going to get hurt. You never know who's going to go down. And so being able to jump in, plug and play whenever, as fast as possible, that's going to add as much value to your game as possible. And so, some of them were telling me, yeah, we like your size. We can see you doing the both inside, outside, possibly in the backfield, even just with my size, kind of like a Deebo Samuel type deal. So just kind of hearing that was cool, and just really just kind of excited to show even more versatility for sure when it comes to the next level.
Be careful mentioning that name, because you might start getting some carries. Okay, Deebo, you know.
Sure.
Man, by the way, who are the other receivers in this process? Either Big 12 guys that you've known over the years? Is it all? I bet you do become closer to some of those guys, either through the Big 12 or maybe it's the guys from Texas that you used to see in high school at certain places. Like, how cool is that? I know now it's tougher because people transfer around like crazy, but are there any other receivers in the draft that you have gotten closer through this process?
Yeah, I'll say more more than a couple, honestly. So the guys from Tech, Caleb Douglas and Reggie Virgil, we were on the same team for Senior Bowl. And so getting to know with them, chopping it up throughout the week, and then kind of see them at the Combine too. That was a cool experience. You got Malachi Fields from Notre Dame, been able to get really close with him too. Really just kind of chopping it up, telling each other stories. And so you got Vinny Anthony from Wisconsin. You got Chase Roberts from BYU. So yeah, that's just naming a couple guys. And so just kind of getting to actually meet them and just kind of know their story. It's kind of cool because like as you know, when it comes to competition, you see your opponent just like, I don't like that person. But really getting to know the person behind the face mask, I think that's the coolest part about this whole experience. And really just kind of grow that connection and grow that bond for sure.
Does Dallas Baker, your wide receivers coach, like, and as he calls you all, the goons and all that kind of stuff, him having played in the NFL, played at Florida on a very high-profile team, which I'm sure you've heard plenty about, like, has that helped? Has Dallas been able to – obviously some things have changed, like social media and that kind of thing, since he was coming through this. But have you leaned on him some through this process?
Yeah, no, for sure. Really just kind of asking him questions about the process because he's been where I want to go. So when it comes to like the Senior Bowl, just asking him how that goes, what it's going to look like, asking him about the Combine, what that looks like. He was the first one to tell me about all the medical tests that we have to do, and it's going to be like this and that and that. And so really just kind of leaning on him, just knowing that he has so much experience. He's a storyteller. He has such a whole bunch of stories he can tell about just his experience and how he would do it differently. And so he's just really been kind of hidden on it, same way other guys have. And that's just saying, just be me, be the same person who came in as a walk-on, who's exiting with that walk-on mindset. So that's something I've been carrying. And then whenever it comes to the interviews, just carrying that same Josh Cameron personality, just being me, having fun with it, and really just taking it day by day for sure.
I wonder what Dallas thinks about getting a Florida Gator quarterback in at Baylor, this DJ Lagway thing.
For sure.
You feel like you might go run a few routes for him at some point just to kind of, not to make Sawyer jealous or something, but it'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Just to kind
that'd be cool.
Get a feel for it. Okay.
That would definitely be cool for sure.
Let me see if I can set something up. I don't really feel like I have any authority over any of that. Real quick question about Aranda. Like, I know Dave has meant a lot to you guys and everything. Did this whole year, with all the stuff that was going on in all of us that were constantly talking about that, and then of course the AD thing happens during the season, I've always been curious to ask you, now that you're away from it a little bit, like, how much that entered the locker room, because you as a team captain and a huge voice in that locker room, you and Sawyer, you probably tried to not let it in there. I get that, but I don't know how it doesn't when it's just constantly something coming up. How did that impact y'all, and how did you try to manage that?
Yeah, so like you said, definitely came up in the locker room. We live in a time of social media, and so just with the numerous distractions we kind of faced throughout the season, from Coach Aranda to the AD thing to all that, it was definitely there. Like, you knew it was there. But I kind of approached it the same way I approach everything else, and that's just remaining focused and keeping the main goal, and that's to go out there and win each and every week. And so just throughout the week with guys talking, not letting certain conversations kind of continue more than they should, and just letting them know, like, control what you can control, be the best person you can be, and just do everything for the team, do everything for your brother. So my message was always just kind of about the brotherhood and just remembering that each person in the locker room has a why, and remember that as you go out to the field, just give your all when trying to win. So that was just kind of my mindset, and how I just kind of handled that when it just came to the numerous distractions throughout the season.
I loved hearing you talk about your mom at the Combine. And I don't and I don't know if everybody knows that story, but she had a medical emergency and you almost lost her. What an incredible journey it's been. How cool was it to be able to share that story on a much sort of bigger platform, and like her presence and obviously just constant support, how big has that been in this process as you get ready to start your NFL career?
Yeah, no, it's been everything for me. My mom is my rock for real. Being able to call her kind of whenever I want. I was talking to her earlier just about some things, just about the process, and she was just giving me words of encouragement, just encouraging me, telling me everything's going to be okay, everything's going to work out because you got God on your side. She was really just kind of telling me a story about just who I am and how God has really been at play before I even came onto this earth. And so just stuff like that, those moments with my mom is just something that can't be replaced. No one can replace it. And so having her here, being able to see her in Indy, give her a big old hug, having my whole family there in Indy, it's meant everything to me. So yeah, no, she's awesome. As you know, she's always smiling. She was the team mom last year for the team. And so she brings that energy, she brings that juice, and she'll definitely be back for Baylor as well.
Well, this is going to be exciting. By the way, did you ever have to turn down any, you've seen all these stories about tampering and everything that happened. Dabo Sweeney came out and called out some people. You started to put up unbelievable numbers as your career started to really prosper, that 2024 season, especially. Yes, so how did you handle that? Something tells me someone may have at least tried to inquire with you. Did you have an agent, like an NIL type agent, that just you were able to kind of keep all that to the side? And did somebody ever try to get you to leave Baylor, or did you just not even entertain that idea when obviously you and Sawyer were coming off an unbelievable season?
Yeah, so really, just like you said, that was most definitely a thing. And so coming off the 2024 season, was kind of around the time of spring, like the middle of spring ball, towards the end of spring ball, is when these teams, they weren't talking to me directly. They were contacting my my wide receiver trainer back in Austin, Coach D-Lou. And so they were just kind of going through him, and then he was kind of relaying what the teams were saying. And so it was there, but my mindset was always like, yeah, I'm not going nowhere. I'm Baylor through and through. My goal is to leave a legacy, finish my legacy here, finish what I've started. I went through a whole spring, feel great about what the team is doing. And so, yeah, there was never any doubt about me like leaving or anything like that. My mind was always set on Baylor, even when the different teams were coming through, throwing numbers and all that stuff. It was always set on Baylor regardless.
Well, thank you, because I'm afraid, BYU tends to come in and visit with some people, and we lost a basketball player to them. You might have heard.
Yeah.
What's the most fun thing that your first purchase? Let's hope you get drafted, pretty early in this draft, and you get a great signing bonus. But wherever you get drafted, you're going to obviously make really, really good money. You're already making good money, probably through NIL. But once you get that first NFL bonus check, what's one fun thing you'll actually do for yourself?
One fun thing. Ooh. See, I'm just so big on saving, man.
Oh no.
It might just go to the savings. But if I had to do one fun purchase, it would either be a nice car, or I would, if it was enough, I would get a house for my parents. So yeah, one of the two things, a car or a house for my people.
Well, that's nice. See, you're immediately, even when I said for yourself, you're thinking of your parents, which is nice. Now, what's the Josh Cameron dream car?
Dream cars, I got a couple. Ooh, we could go. I've been looking at Camaro ZL1s lately. You got the Audi RS7. You got the Lexus RCF Track Edition. Yeah, there's a couple I've been kind of eyeing. Big under the cars. You got the Audi RSQ8 SUV. Yeah, there's a couple options I could go with for sure if I were to do it off the rip. But
what are you in now? And
I'm driving a Hyundai Elantra N. So it's like a souped up Elantra N, kind of like a track car. So I kind of modded it up a little bit, did some cool things, and so yeah.
All right. Well, you're going to be a great story leading up to this draft. Now, we can't let Sawyer get all the attention. I don't know if you saw that. ESPN.com did a big story on him.
Yeah.
That was up yesterday.
So we're saying ESPN loves him. That's what he was saying.
Oh, but they're making him out to be the most humble guy ever because he's in a 2019 beat up something. I'm like, okay.
He's in the tundra.
He's in the tundra. It's almost like the thing barely runs, you know. His teammates have to push him to practice in his truck. Yeah. But no, it's the guy that wrote it is a good buddy of mine. So I think it's a nice story. Josh, we're excited for you. And I always am kind of interested because then you leave campus and I'm like, okay, how do I get in hold of these guys?
Yeah.
And then I noticed that Scott Casterline, unfortunately, I've been covering the NFL a long time. And so he's got, all kinds of Baylor ties.
Yes,
and,
sir.
He's a good guy. So I thought, okay, I know how to track down Josh Cameron. Or maybe I could, I could always get a hold of your mom.
I was about to say, you can always call my mama. You can always call my mom.
She'll take care of Mosley, even though I've probably been too rough on the Bears at times. I'm sure there have been times she's like, oh man, why is he saying this? But you just had an unbelievable career, and Baylor people will be so excited. And so whatever round it happens,
yes, sir.
It's kind of like, with you being a guy Faith, I think you'll have that mindset of, hey, this is when it was supposed to happen.
No doubt.
That doesn't mean you can't get mad at Scott if it goes a little too long.
Sure. No doubt.
Or blame it. Yeah, no, but you're going to do great because you get more and more buzz all the time. And then I think you'll put up great numbers at the Baylor Pro Day. So hopefully I'll get to see you there, okay?
Yes, sir.
I promise I won't try to take up so much of your time, okay?
I got you.
I'll be the guy in the sunglasses, and I'll just say hello.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Josh.
Yes,
it's great
sir.
to have you. I really appreciate it. And
appreciate you,
good luck
man.
the rest of the way. If you ever need anything, holler at me, okay?
Sounds good.
If anybody's being mean to him in the media, there he goes. Josh Cameron headed off for his day. And, man, I told you, Kev, that Josh Cameron he was exactly what you thought he would be, just because he's just an incredible guy. And what's funny is he's obviously extremely nice and all of that, but he's also he's one of those rare guys that some guys that play with an edge are also kind of edgy off the field. And he's one of those dudes that kind of can be, very, very open, very nice, but he brings an edge to the field. And he is fearless when it comes to going across the middle, and he's built. I can see why a team tried to ask him that, because while he has the size and he's got everything you need to be an excellent wide receiver. He's just a little stronger and a little more built, where teams, I think the Deebo Samuel's a good one, a good comp, because, Deebo, they've lined him up at running back at times. Josh is capable of that. And I think he'll do great on the pro day. I hate that he tweaked whatever it was that didn't allow him to run at the combine, because I do think he would have put up big numbers. So great to have him on. And I'll tell you what we'll try to do. We'll try to dig in on some of these other Baylor draftees. I'll have to kind of see who's representing some of these other guys. But, wow, that was great. That was a great way to kick it off with Josh Cameron, and he is a neat guy. All right, Kev, we're getting closer to the franchise tag deadline. Oh, before we go to break, I believe Kevin does have a bit of breaking news for us. That is our breaking news sounder. Kev, what do you have for us?
Transition tag for Daniel Jones, $37.8 million signed. Good, well, not signed, but made official. So there you go.
Okay.
It's done.
So
it will be for 1 year.
Okay. Meaning, just a reminder, transition tag is different from just a franchise tag.
Yep.
Transition tag, while you can match it, if you don't choose to match, you don't get the same compensation you would get on the franchise tag, which is 2 first-round picks, which never happens, but the transition tag is still a big number. I don't think somebody will try to sign him, but the thing to watch on a transition tag, and I saw this happen with an offensive lineman years ago. I think it involved, may have been Steve Hutchinson. Don't get me lying. It was somebody, I want to say either with the Vikings or Seahawks, maybe with the Vikings. But Kev, you can put a poison pill in when it comes to, I think it's the transition tag, and it can kind of screw something up for the team trying to keep the player. The team that tries to sign the player can include what's called a poison pill. How do I know this? Because I've covered the league for 20-something years, and I've seen it happen. I just don't. I need to look that up. For some reason, in my mind, is a guard named Hutchinson, Steve Hutchinson or something like that.
This is only the second quarterback ever to receive the transition tag as opposed to the franchise tag. What was the other one?
Drew Brees.
No. Had some Colts ties. Jeff George, the Falcons in 96 was the other one.
Gosh, all of free agency and everything was very new at that point. Did the Colts then end up signing him to an offer sheet after that?
No, this was when he was with the Falcons.
Oh, they put him on the transition tag.
Yeah, it was after he'd already left the Colts. So
he was the first overall pick for the Colts.
Yep,
many moons ago.
Yep, Indianapolis kid.
Who would have been the GM for the Colts at the time?
Oh, that is a good question. I think Marchibroda was still the coach. I'm not sure who the GM was.
Old man Irsay was still alive?
Yep. Bob
when that would have happened. Yeah, interesting. That would be Robert Irsay.
Also during the interview with Cameron, it was announced that Trey Hendrickson will not receive the franchise tag, and so he will pretty much be guaranteed to hit the open market next week. He's free.
Wow. He's fine. I mean, this man has really fought it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, wow. That's interesting. And again, that becomes a possible Cowboys target. You have to look at Christian Parker in the way he wants to structure this thing. But in how Hendrickson and somebody like that would fit, it seems like more people have attached the Max Crosby situation, which the Raiders have tried to indicate that they want to keep him, but Crosby has totally shown that he really would like to be out of there. This becomes a very interesting possibility for a lot of teams. And this is a young man who will not end up with Micah Parsons, but now he had back-to-back seasons. He's not that far removed. I don't think he was great for the Bengals this past season, but he's not that far removed from having like 17 and a half sacks. I want to say a couple of different seasons. He's very much wanted out of there. What did we decide, Kev, that Micah's getting per season? Is it 40?
44.
44. I would say that some team would pay Hendrickson somewhere in the 30 to 35 million a year range. I don't think he's going to get Micah Parsons money because of his age. How old is he, Kevin? Would he be around 30 now? I would think he's probably around.
I believe he's 31, maybe 32 by the time this season starts.
Okay. So that said, probably some team could either do a short-term they could do a 3-year deal at probably about 25 to 30 a year, or they could do a 1-year kind of get him going again deal. He would hate that because that's what he's been on this thing where he's been angry at the Bengals. I'm trying to think what he was making with the Bengals. Probably somewhere in the 25 to 30 range. Anyway, all right, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, all he needs is 2 teams desperately fighting over him, and that would get it back up there to around 30 to 35 million a year. A reminder, Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb makes $34 million a year, and that is how much George Pickens is looking to make, in somewhere in that range. He wants to make somewhere in the 35 to 40 million range. So lots happening today. We have 20 more minutes until the actual franchise tag deadline, and then we'll take a peek and see. It now looks like, okay, so what's interesting, Kev, if the Colts, I'm not saying they want to do this, but the Colts could, can you use the transition tag as well as the franchise tag?
Yes, that is a possibility.
So they could use the franchise tag still on Pierce.
Right, but now at this point with the tag on Jones, they are now over the cap, and still, unless they restructure things, let Pittman go, who has $29 million that would free up some cap space. But there was thought out there that Pierce wasn't going to sign anything until he knew for sure who his quarterback was. So maybe they have something tentatively in the works with Pierce once the Jones domino fell.
Yeah, we still don't know.
Yeah,
if Jones is going to be
right
the Colts quarterback, because they didn't lock him up as much as they could have, and literally they only saved $5 million, $6 million. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a strange one, because the transition tag is just not as popular. So you save $6 million, but you open the door to one of these 4 or 5 teams, like a Miami, like a Vikings.
Yep.
Do the Jets have a quarterback?
Nope.
There's several teams out there that would be in the running for something like this. And don't forget about the Browns, and don't forget about the Steelers. Not just because Mike McCarthy's there does not mean, I know what he said publicly, but if you think Mike McCarthy is dying for another Aaron Rodgers experience, you haven't paid attention, because those two were sick of each other with the Packers. And I promise you, they have not been dreaming of a reunion all these years. Part of that is a made-up storyline. All right, Kev, you might have a couple more college nuggets, and we'll sound off more on the NFL. We'll do it next.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues and those sort of things. Because the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. I said I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Okay, that was really great for the first time on your own. Let's maybe take a break, and then we'll come back and do some more.
Sounds great.
Oh, you're back. That was a fast break.
I know.
Hi, would either of you be able to assist me?
Yes, she'd love to help.
Oh yes, I love assist.
Central National Bank.
proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. us.muc-off.com.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Oh man, what a day it's been, and we got NFL news breaking as we speak, and we'll cover a little bit more of that. I thought that was really having Josh Cameron on today. I there are a lot of Baylor players I've loved over the years, but that guy is right up there he's a great player, but just from like a character standpoint, he's right up there with Jalen Petrie and Thomas Everett and some of the all-time greats in terms of just what an awesome young man he is. He's just a really cool guy to have on and easy to visit with. This is weird. We do have some breaking news. Well, all right. This is from Siegmund 365. Kev, give us our breaking news sounder. And just as we were talking to Josh Cameron, of course, this is not great news, but maybe this and let's make sure we give the proper credit. Replying to who is this? KSR Plus first broke this story. Jacob Palachek, reporter for Kentucky Sports Radio, and I believe Baylor Siegmund 365 picked it up. Baylor transfer wide receiver Hardly Gilmore IV, somebody that when we had Jake Spavital on, I was talking to Jake about Hardly Gilmore IV, has returned to Kentucky. Gilmore IV flipped his commitment from Louisville to Baylor via the transfer portal and signed with the Bears on January 12th, but never enrolled at the school and had not been practicing with the team. I don't know. I don't know what you do. Did they pay him any? Did he sign a contract? Did he sign an NIL deal? I mean, I think the time for everybody to play nice is over. Yep, there it was. Hardly Gilmore IV. I brought that up recently with DJ Lagway. And we didn't really get into specifics about the different wide receivers. But he's not been around, apparently, and he's no longer with the program. So, again, they signed him in the portal. if somebody is this wishy-washy, at some point, I don't know if you really want them back. Okay, now we got Kevin with his sound effects. What you do want is, if he signed a deal, I mean, these contracts need to actually mean something. And you saw Washington go after its quarterback when he tried to leave, and you saw Duke reach a settlement with Darian Mensah, who went to Miami from Duke. These contracts need to somehow have some teeth and be enforceable. Otherwise, why even have them? All right. So I can't say that at first, when all this was going on, I was never one to be like, oh, go sue this person. But hey, if somebody commits to something, stick with it. I mean, this news comes out in the context of us just talking to Josh Cameron, who admitted, Kevin, to us that teams came after him. Teams reached out to his wide receiver coach that he works with, conditioning coach out of Austin, and they were trying to come get Josh Cameron. And he knew his mom wouldn't like it, and he knew he wouldn't like it. And he decided that Baylor was the place for him. But, I knew it. That's why I asked Josh Cameron. I knew he would have had other opportunities, and he chose to stay at Baylor. And I guarantee you, a player of his ability, whether it be SEC or Big Ten, there would have been other big-time schools looking to bring him in. You saw A&M get KC Concepcion from NC State, and you saw A&M get the other great player from Mississippi State, who was unbelievable for them this year. Oh, dang it. What is his name? Garner? I'm drawing a blank right now. A&M had two awesome wide receivers. One of them came from Mississippi State. I can't remember the kid's name all of a sudden. But he's back at A&M this year. Very, very interesting news coming out today about a player leaving the Baylor Bears in the portal. Now,
Mario Craver.
I know, what's that?
Mario Craver.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Nothing like Garner. I don't know where that came from. Craver. Mario Craver. Wow. I mean, he and Concepcion, it may have been Craver in that Notre Dame game, a huge win for them on the road. Craver, oh my gosh, they put up some yards in that game. Another thing while we're on college football. Now, if you want to ding DJ because he's coming from Florida, he's coming back home, he's got to kind of prove it. Now, okay. I'm not going to get into a big debate. But Dave Campbell's Texas Football and my friend Mike Craven put a list together. And, Kevin, I meant to send you this list. It's Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And they've been doing, ranking the top 10 running backs, college running backs in the state of Texas. And then the top 10 quarterbacks. And they had Marcel Reese from Texas A&M at number 7 in the state of Texas, behind whoever the quarterback is at Texas State. Now, again, I'm sure he's great, and I like G.J. Kinney as much as the next guy. I want to say they had DJ Lagway 8th or something like that. Come on, man. Goodness gracious. You kidding me? Marcel Reese, 7th best quarterback in the state of Texas. Kevin, I'll give you 2 guesses who they had as the number 1 college quarterback in the state. And I don't think you'll need 2 guesses. Kevin, would you like to guess who they put number 1?
Arch Manning.
There you go. Who Marcel Reese goes to the playoff, had an incredible season. Did Texas beat A&M head-to-head? Yes, they did. Is one quarterback the best in Texas and one is the 7th? No. I mean, completely disrespectful to Marcel Reese, almost to the point where it felt like I can't remember if they had him at 6 or 7, maybe 6 in the state of Texas. All right.
It's Marcel Reed.
What did I call him?
Reese.
No, sorry.
It's all right. We'll just call him Malik. It'll be all right.
We've had some breakdowns today. I guess if I'm going to take up for the man, I don't know how to say his name. Of course it is Marcel Reed. Sorry. I was looking for it because that really, and unfortunately they've just tweeted so much stuff. I was going to look at that. That popped into my head again today. Let's see. This was the top 10 quarterbacks in the state of Texas. And I honestly thought it would get more blowback than it did. Oh, here we go. I got it. All right. Kev, Arch Manning 1, Kevin Jennings from SMU 2, Brendan Sorsby, now the quarterback at Tech 3. They paid him like $5 million. Okay, fine.
To be the third best quarterback in this state?
That's what they're saying.
Come on.
They're saying. Connor Wigman from University of Houston, they have as the 4th best. Brad Jackson from Texas State, number 5. Marcel Reed, number 6. DJ Lagway Baylor, number 7. I mean, he 2024, he was considered the greatest quarterback in the country as a prospect. Now they got him number 7 in the state of Texas. But again, he's new. He's coming back. I don't even have that big of a problem with that. It's what they did to Marcel Reed, who took a team to the college football playoff and had an unbelievable season before they ran into those dreaded University of Texas Longhorns. Very disrespectful. Owen McCown, number 8. The new guy at TCU, number 9, Jaden Craig. That may be the guy from Harvard. And then the University of North Texas quarterback, Taven Jackson. I need to put my glasses on. As number 10 overall. Baylor did not. They put their top 10 running backs out today in the state of Texas, but the Bears did not land anybody on that. Funny one was, Kevin, they put Cameron Dickey, the Texas Tech running back, at number 1, and all the Texas Tech people said, well, that guy's not even our starter. He's not our starting running back. They put him as the number 1 starting running back in the state of Texas. Raleek Brown, number 2 at Texas. I think he transferred in from Arizona State, I think. Hollywood Smothers from University of Texas, the 3rd best running back. Reuben Owens from A&M 4. Kendrick Raphael at SMU 5. And then they put Jacoby Williams at Tech, number 6. No Baylor player to be found on this list. I know Bryson Washington would have been up there, but he now plays for Auburn. Dawson Pendergrass, I think, should be on there somewhere, but I'm not going to lose it over that. All right, we've come to the end of the program. We were waiting till the final whistle to blow. We did get this Colts news. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Alec Pierce, their wide receiver, if he hits free agency. I mean, Kev, they may let him get out there and test the market. What I was saying earlier, it doesn't mean they can't sign him. Once he hits the open market, it just becomes they don't have that much control over it anymore. 27 seconds ago, the Cardinals have informed quarterback Kyler Murray, speaking of Texas quarterbacks, that, and I know he played at A&M, but I'm talking about from the state of Texas, that they intend to release him on the first day of the league year, barring a trade between now and then. Arizona already owes him $36.8 million guaranteed in 2026, and another $19.5 million would have triggered on March 15th. So he gets his nearly $37 million not to play for the Cardinals. Now, They'll get that off the books. He'll get paid, and he'll be able to go play somewhere else. And that adds some intrigue in free agency. Who would like a guy with a lot of baggage, but let's not act like he's not talented? And you go, well, man, he doesn't throw the ball that well. I think that's accurate. I think that's an okay statement, but he's still, when right physically, which is not all the time, unbelievably athletic. In fact, from a quarterback athleticism standpoint, after Lamar, and I guess Josh Allen in his own way, I'd put Kyler Murray third among all NFL quarterbacks in terms of just pure athleticism, the ability to get outside the pocket and the ability to run. When healthy, who is a faster quarterback than Kyler Murray outside of Lamar Jackson? Kev, I think the answer is no one.
Anthony Richardson. You asked.
Let me ask you this. Who is more athletic between Richardson and Daniels?
Richardson. I mean,
they're both pretty
if you look
athletic.
At his,
now, Daniels is a much better quarterback, I think.
Yeah.
But
if you're looking at the body
Richardson,
type, Richardson's body type is most comparable to Khalil Mack. So the things that he is able to do with his body at his size is incredible. And his deep shots, that the throw in the first game of the 2024 season,
I know.
That's still got to be one of the best all-time throws in the NFL.
But now he's not. I would not say he's faster than Kyler Murray. He may be.
I would say that size
more
of the individual is a perspective change there.
Okay.
Kyler's legs move faster because he has shorter ones.
That's kind of an awkward thing to do with your fingers there, to be honest with you. Size matters, sir. Okay. Okay. Now, I just happened to see that one because it broke right as we were saying goodbye. And I like to give you some breaking news. A Bears Pro Bowl center. About 20 minutes ago, we got news. Courtney Cronin broke this news that he's retiring. Drew Dalman, what's going on here? Pro Bowl center for the Chicago Bears, ending his pro career after 5 seasons. He was the marquee free agent signing during the 2025 offseason when he inked a 3-year, $42 million contract. Comes less than 3 months removed from the Bears winning the NFC North title, and he was a key piece along the offensive line. I don't know what's going on here. Wow. Bears will now be in the market for a center and left tackle. Ozzy Trapillo, who started 7 games at left tackle, will miss the majority of the season while he recovers from a knee injury. Man, good center for Chicago just says, we're done here. I'm done here. Now, it's not the first time. We have seen players leave fairly early in their careers due to either concussions or some just like, you know what? I'd kind of like to maybe keep some of my faculties about me the rest of my life. I get it. We know way more about concussions now than ever. And so we might find out more about this story. But that's a wild one, Kevin. Big time NFL starting center, Pro Bowl center, Dunzo.
Yeah.
27 years old. He's done. He is done with the game.
The particulars about the Kyler Murray is the Cardinals will still pay him $36.5 million next year. or this coming year, guaranteed. So somebody's going to get a good deal because the Cardinals are picking up the tab, a la Russell Wilson for the Steelers a few years ago.
Well, I don't know when the payment has to be made. It'll be very odd if there's almost like league rules that prevent literally you sending checks throughout a season for a player that's playing for somebody else. So at some point,
this is according to,
it'll be like a lump
Field
sum
Yates,
type deal.
It's still $36.5 million guaranteed for this year. So
for 2026, that's what we just said. That's what we said earlier. We just don't. Yeah, we don't know exactly when that'll get paid, but yes, it'll happen. Now, what happens sometimes is somebody that wants to trade for him, Kev, like if he was still thought to be a really good NFL quarterback, a team would just take some of that on, right? Some of that money, they say, hey, tell you what, here's what he's owed for 26. We want him, so we'll pay for a lot of that salary. I mean, this happens in baseball constantly. A team's coming in and going, okay, we'll pay for some of that. Baseball more than any other sport. Football, that's still a bit of an interesting thing, but that is fascinating. So let me just make sure we don't have anything else right here at the deadline coming in. They will now look to find the next quarterback for the Cardinals as Murray's 7-year run comes to an end. Depending on where the Cardinals pick, Kevin, you may have that in front of you. I guess, Ty Simpson could be an option. That is the second quarterback who's believed to go in this NFL draft. So Kyler Murray's time in Arizona, number 1 overall pick, rookie of the year in 2019.
Arizona picks third in this year's draft.
I think Arizona will be looking to bail out of that pick if they can. I mean, I think we'll have to look at who all needs quarterbacks. That seems too rich for Ty Simpson, but also, as we've seen in the past, Kevin, and as I told you with the Ole Miss quarterback, you thought I was crazy. If that kid had have been in the draft and not come back to Ole Miss because of the desperate need for quarterback, that kid was going to go in the first round. And that's why you could almost question his decision to come back to Ole Miss. Now, maybe he'll have an unbelievable year and he'll be the consensus top 5 pick next year. But that's interesting. Could the Cardinals pick Ty Simpson at number 3? All of you are looking at your mock drafts right now and you're saying, no, no, no. And I will just tell you, be careful here. When the desperation meets position, crazy things happen. Now, what they'd rather do is let somebody come up there and get that pick. Because if you stay there, you're going to pick Arvell Reese or one of these unbelievable.
How about this?
Or
could the Cowboys bundle their 2 ones to jump up there and get Sonny Styles?
No, they don't. No, I love these players, but they're not good enough to do that. They're not game-changing enough to do that because the truth of the matter is this. There is a chance, like, now if Sonny Styles got down to, we're not that far removed from people mocking Sonny Styles to the Cowboys at number 12. Now, he knocked it out of the park at the combine, so now everybody's like, oh, my God, I have to have Sonny Styles. Now, if the Cowboys are in love with him, now maybe they think about something if he gets down there to, like, 8 or 9. But they're not coming up to number 3 to get anybody. In fact, they would not need the 20th and the 12th pick to get up there. They would need the 12th pick, a second rounder, and a fourth rounder. Unfortunately, they don't have a second round pick. I think the Jets have that pick and maybe the Quinnen Williams deal. So, man, this is where you come. I mean, you could look at these other things out there, these other YouTube shows, but I'm telling you, man, for the breaking news and the real-time reaction, you need to be on the Mosley Show and the interviews we do. Lord help. I mean, Kev, that Josh Cameron thing was spectacular today. All right. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. He's just awesome. All right, Kev. I hope you have something planned for tomorrow because I don't think we can top today. But I'll leave it to you because we have to. We have to keep topping the shows. All right. All right. Look for our podcast and look for all our shorts and all our stuff to be out there later today on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. All our stuff's out there. We appreciate you. It's been the Mosley Show. For Kevin Hall, I'm Matt Mosley. Join us tomorrow when we have a top draft guru for NFL.com on with us to assess what he thought about the NFL Combine. See you tomorrow.
Central National Bank, this is Nikki. How may I help you?
Yes, can you please transfer me to the loan department?
You want to transfer?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, you can't transfer right now.
What?
Have a good day. Yes, how may I help you?
Hi, I would like to transfer money from my C&B account to another bank.
Absolutely not. No. Have a great day.
Wait, hold.
I'm on your website and I'm trying to find the link for your payment portal.
The portal is currently unavailable. Have a great day.
We've received a few complaints.
Correct. We no longer allow any outgoing transfers, only incoming.
But the good news is, no money is leaving the bank. Like, none.
Good job. Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's internxt.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
Experience with the Mosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
MosleyMD.com.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.